Good morning. That is, good morning. Well, I've cheated. I've already had my first cup of coffee. But I ain't above making yet another one. How you doing? This is day 115 of the Outside Freak Challenge. And even though we're smack dab in the middle of August, it's kind of chilly. And in fact, I guess with the El Nino, is that it, right? Apparently it's going to be a very snowy winter, which means the Sierras are going to be pretty snowy. Yeah. Which means that if I hike the PCT in 2027, probably going to have to start later than earlier. So day 115, if all goes well, I'll be just running in and out of town for a resupply. I think I might do a little bit of shaving, maybe. It might be nice to have hair for the winter time. Yeah. Someone asked yesterday, what do you have in your tent? And, well, this stuff is usually inside. I just kind of pull it out. But that's about it. Can you see? Yeah. It's just my tent. I have a pillow, a blow-up pillow, and I use my backpack as a lower pad, so I don't really use a full body pad. There's my umbrella. Yeah, 'cause oh no. What is oh no? As in Yoko Ono, what's up, man? And I gotta get you on one of my live streams, man. But yeah, I hope everything's okay. Of course, I'm just waking up, so I might have said something that created an oh no. There it is. Auto wronging my text. Oh, you're just that's messed up. That's way different than oh no. Oh my goodness. Yeah. You know, there is a lot of sort of negativity and pushback against AI, and I totally get it. There's two things that I really kind of dislike, I guess, and that is card tricks and tricks that you do on your phone. So, of course, you know what I've been doing for the past, I don't know, I don't know how many days I've been doing it now. I know I've been able to, save a lot of food because I kind of tend not to eat. I'm creating. So yeah, so what do I do is I've been working on an effect with cards and the phone. More specifically, I have an app. I don't believe you have to have an app for your iPhone that allows you to do plain text. But I got this app that allows me to do plain text. And so I've been able to program, which is super cool. And these effects two effects that I've created are really cool. Yeah, they're super cool. I'm gonna have to show you. I can show you during a live stream. So when you're ready to see this effect, let me know and I'll do it. Yeah. Well, let me know when you want to do a live stream. No, not a live stream, just a phone call, right? Oh, hey, buddy. Kill it. Kill it. You know what I'm saying? As in, yeah, don't hurt anyone. Awesome, man. Good luck and everything, man. Stoked for you on that. And I sort of wish I could hang out there at least for a little bit. That's where teletransportation is going to come in really handy, We're almost there. We're kind of there. This thing that I'm working on, I wonder what that is. Okay. Okay. No. Because I'm doing the wide thing, the chat comes up and then disappears. Yeah. I just heard a term. It's funny. It's mega chad. Have you ever heard of a mega chad? A mega chad, and the other end of that. All right, hey, later, bro. All right. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. That was Mega Chad. No, not really. Nah, the definition of Mega Chad is not the definition of Mega Chad. I don't know, maybe he is. I don't know. We'll have to. But there's the Mega Chad, and then there's the robot Barbie or something. Yeah, robot Barbie, Mega Chad. Yes. So these, I'll just finish what I was saying there. These effects that I've been working on, I kind of figured out the flow for reiterating until you get it right, which is really important. You often, you're just trying to get things to work. So getting into the reiterative process is a flow. The reiterative flow is huge. So whereas a lot of people with AI, with computers and all that stuff, there's claims that it destroys your flow state. Well, I beg to differ if you're creating on the actual device. And I think you could find a quite sufficient flow state. And I do music production, video editing, image creation, and programming, all on my phone. In fact, last resupply, I picked up my other phone, so that way I have two phones, kind of like two computer screens. Yeah, we're geeking out that hard. And why not? Because we have that 20 milliampere battery along with the 10 milliampere, 10,000 milliampere and 20,000 milliampere, yeah. So we got 30,000 milliampere and a 400 watt solar panel over there, okay? So, yeah, we're doing it right. But I totally get it. I think it's easy to, well, especially the TV mind generation. I know for sure my generation is a total TV head generation, you know? So, it's in our genes. So, resupply and water supply are hitting on the same day, which is good. If resupply doesn't happen, then water supply will definitely happen. But this is so cool, man. I mean, this is so old school. I haven't had one of these or seen. I don't even remember having one of these. I'm sure I have. And it occurs to me that this is going to be way better than disposable plastic. And when it's empty, I can just crush it down. I put it in my pack, or I can put it in my lock box, right? Yeah, digging this. Water solutions ain't easy out here. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna make some coffee. Yeah. You get to see, sir, how I do the dishes around here. So Chad Ventures is back at it on assignment, making the big bucks, and hopefully when he's got time, we'll be able to do a live stream like the old times, like the good old days. Yeah, man, the bottom, once that happens, man, it's really gets hard to not burn stuff. This has really come in handy too. I cut off my kind of fork spoon. I cut the fork end off, and then use this as a scraper. There we go. Yeah, I'd say the biggest culprit has been potatoes. So I tend not to make potatoes now. You know, the instant potatoes. Yeah, I tend not to make those. Now, something that's peculiar about this channel and YouTube algorithm is that my edited videos, for the most part, are just, you know, DOA. Yeah, they interesting. And I enjoy editing the videos, but not so much that they just kind of fall flat, right? So it's weird. So I mean, I'll still edit some videos for this channel because you know, I just enjoy doing that if I have an idea or something. But for the most part, I think I'm just, you know, I'll do live streams. Yeah, this is predominantly a diary. Like all YouTube videos, we're kind of coerced into trying to monetize to get subscribers and all that kind of a thing, which, you know, it's kind of annoying. Yeah. It really floods the market with just the wrong stuff like capitalism and then, you know, just, and the worst kind of capitalism, not like the good old capitalism, but just this, just overload of trying to sell you stuff, mostly subscriptions or plastic molded devices, disposable plastic molded devices. So, all right, where are we at here? Glass in the wild. Yes. Yes, we are. Oh, yes, we are. I think if you are going to have a luxury that's going to weigh something, let it be something you're constantly using and putting stuff into your body with. Glass. I think it's just worth it. I probably wouldn't backpack with it, but you know. The bidet helps so much to conserve water. I've been, with my current water setup, I have been able to put off doing a water run for a while now. I forget how many days, but yeah, for a while I've not had to do a water run. Now, in order to conserve fuel, yep, see, water in a glass. It's the little things in life. So I'm going to be doing my usual cowboy coffee / pour over. Just put the grinds in the pot. Man, look, we're running low on the coffee. I wonder if there's something that I could just like one thing, like coffee, and then like one food item that could sustain you in a healthy manner. In a healthy manner, that's the key. I'm sure you could just do milk, coffee, and cereal. Again, the TV generation, the diet of the TV generation. I predominantly, for summertime, I think most of the summer during the warmer weather, I do the intermittent fasting thing, which means I don't really eat food until the evening. It's easy to do in the summer and spring. So now with the rest of this water, and look, running out of the milk too. Resupply couldn't be better timed. So I use a lot of milk. Yeah. Powdered milk takes up a lot of pack space. Luckily, it's not too heavy. Powdered milk and coffee. Sounds like a song, especially in the morning. So I have a trick, and it's going to work out, because you need to buy a lot of powdered milk. For me, I gotta buy twice what I think I need. So instead of buying one bag, buy 2 bags, one skim milk or non-fat milk or 2% milk, and then if you could find it, another bag of whole milk. Mix those together, and I think the synergy works nicely to create a somewhat passable milk. I mean, I wouldn't drink it outright, but adding it, using it on cereals, oatmeal, or adding it to coffee, I think it works fine, especially if you use a lot. I like a little bit of coffee in my milk. And no sugar. Man, doing that sugar makes my teeth feel like they're about to fall out. I think there's so much sugar in a lot of the products that adding sugar is just not so good. I think the only sugar that I have right now is the sugar that's in this granola. So what I'll do, instead of putting sugar in oatmeal, I'll add a little bit of granola into the oatmeal. Also, a dietary trick is, if you're going to do any kind of sweets, eat protein. Yeah. Combine the sweets and the protein, and I hear it's a lot less damaging. I'm no dietitian, so, but I think it seems to make sense. Yeah. Okay, here we are. So now with everything exactly measured, it conserves fuel. There's a concept, which isn't a bad concept. I think it's part of that, you got to get in before you get out, and getting out is what it's going to be about, is when you live like this, it's important to create systems, and that's very true. But I also feel that once you create a system, that you then create multiple systems. Or I guess what I'm saying is every day is a new day. So your system, you can't make your system work when things change, right? You have to change your system for up and coming eventualities, let's call it. Yeah. Specifically, like packing your pack. Even if you're like packing your car or whatever. I mean, a lot of this stuff even applies to living in a home, but you can get away with so much when you have walls, sticks and bricks. Yeah, you can get away with a lot, but there's a lot you can't do. Sticks and bricks, so we all know that. But packing your pack, some days you might want to put your tent in first. You always want to put the light stuff in first, so it's at the bottom. But, so that's a system. But then there's choices within that system. Yeah, that might be a better way to look at it. Some days you might want to put your sleeping bag at the very bottom. Maybe it's going to be warm, so essentially you put the items you're going to need least and need last in the bottom of your pack. There's a pack that I've been considering for a couple months now, because I do have to be ready for when my ULA circuit dies. And the pack I've been looking at has been the Shadow Light from Outdoor Vitals, Shadow Light Carbon. Now, it doesn't seem to be as popular of a pack as, say, the Durston Kakwa 50 or the Gossamer Mariposa, especially the Gorilla Pack. Yeah. But it has one feature that I really like. I wish it had the cut water bottle that the REI Flash uses. That would be cool. They need to steal that. But the Shadow Light has something that a lot of people don't like. I think it would be fantastic. Is because then I'm jumping around here. It has a zipper down the entire back of the backpack, and for me, I think that's a great idea, or at least I think it would be. And then I think you could create just a system of packing that you could always go to. and not have to modify from day to day. And I hear the zipper works really good. I hear the problem with the zipper is if you're using a pack liner, it's not going to work well, but I think that's an easy workaround. I think all you have to do is put an 1/8" foam pad between that and the pack liner, unzip it, pull the 1/8" pad out. Yeah, I don't think that's a real problem. So the only thing I'm concerned with is it going to carry weight comfortably? Apparently it does. So it's not an overly expensive pack, so that's a good thing. And yeah. So, anybody out there have experience with how the shadow light from Outdoor Vitals, that backpack, how it carries? Let me know. With any luck, I won't have to get it anytime soon, but my ULA is showing signs of where I have had to do some repairs on it already. So I like to let this cowboy coffee steep for a little bit, and but not so long that it gets cold or anything. And then I guess it's not like a pour over so much as it just filters the grinds out. Yeah, because I really don't like those grinds in my coffee. Yes, I'm a civilized outdoorsman. Well, let's see if there's anything I want to remember. That's it. I can't believe 115 days. It's not a lot of days, really. Sounds like a lot of days, but it's not really a lot of days. I started in the spring, and here it's almost fall. We're just a couple weeks away from September. That's crazy. Luckily, September, October are fantastic in the Sierra Nevadas. I really love the Sierra Nevadas this time of year. It's incredible. And let me see. We got the PCT section hike of the Tahoe, the whole Tahoe region. We're going to be doing that soon. So I got to remember these things. I almost forgot. And I get caught up in creating. You forget. Wind up in this crazy timeless matrix. Okay, I think we're ready for some coffee. Oh, why is it spilling? Typically, I don't have spillage. I don't know what that was about. There we go. So, if you didn't have this filter, you could just pour until you get to the grinds that are at the bottom. But there's always going to be grinds that still get in to the coffee. I guess the argument is those grinds would sink to the bottom. I don't think so. Or just be a man, be a cowboy. just love the grinds in your teeth. Oh, come on now. Cheers. I guess this would be like considered a latte or a cafe au lait. I guess I can tell you what I've created. I'm not going to show it quite yet, but I've created a tarot card app that is incredibly accurate. You have every right to be skeptical. But it's a different take on tarot cards. It just uses regular deck of 52 cards. I'm having a lot of fun with it. Some of you might know I'm a magician, and I do magic, music, painting, art, that whole liberal arts thing. And playing music by yourself is pretty common, right? And I guess practicing magic by yourself is pretty common too. But usually it's not common to practice magic without actually performing for people. Music, plenty of people play music and never actually perform. But for me, it was my first job out of high school was, magician in the casinos. So, and prior to that, as soon as I became a magician, I started performing shows for my friends, and then for Boy Scouts and for PTA meetings and stuff like that. So I very much equate doing magic, practicing magic in order to perform. But doing magic for the sake of creating magic is relatively new to me. And I'm having a lot of fun with it. I think when I was younger, I leaned more towards just traditional. I still created magic, but it was more about using the magic that was common and creating unique routines, whereas now the level is actually trying to create new magic altogether using whole new tools that are available to us. So that I actually created two programs. One is called the Ezekiel Tarot, which is what I was just talking about. And then the other program is, of course, an accompanying Ouija board. It's not called Ouija board, it's called a myth board. And The myth board, again, is a program, but essentially just works just like the talking boards, the Ouija boards. Operates just like that. Two people hold it, and then you know, you can conduct seances. It's fun. So these are things that I can actually pick up my phone and play with and do myself, that even though I created it, still blows my mind. I think the effect. As a magician, you have to be of two brains. You have to have the brain of the spectator, and then you have to have the brain of the creator of the effect. And so that spectator part of my brain is just blown away. I mean, wow. Yeah. I almost want to start performing magic again. Because these effects are really, really cool. But just because the spectator in me really thinks it's cool, I'm a little bit biased, right? Because the creator in me knows how much effort and how much brain power and focus it took to create the effect. Just like when you're a musician and you make compose a musical piece, you try to be the spectator, but the truth of the matter is you're biased by the work and the emotion and whatever went into creating that piece that a lot of people might not, probably don't hear. So, but you try to be an unbiased spectator. It's difficult to do. Yeah. Man, what am I going to call this video? I like the idea of thumbnails and stuff, because then when I go back to look at these, it's a lot easier to find and be reminded of little snapshots. Maybe nothing. Maybe just campfire talk. No campfires, of course. Something else I gotta do. Yeah, this is actually a yellow shirt. I think it's time to do some laundry. Some real laundry. Usually I'll go by the river to a campground where there's water or something, and kind of do my laundry by hand, but it can only get so clean. And in fact, this particular shirt and this particular shirt underneath it, this alpha fleece, man, if you look at them, they get dirty. And the dirtier they get, the harder it is to clean them. Yeah. This yellow shirt, I don't think is ever going to get clean. I really like it though. This is an Outdoor Vitals shirt, sun hoodie. And it's one of the less expensive. It's like half the price of a lot of these other sun hoodies. And it's great, other than immediately getting filthy dirty. Immediately. I mean, this is like, it'll look like this in 2 days. 1 day. But it's great. It doesn't stink. I could put it out in the sun, let it hang a little bit, and it airs out really well. That's kind of what you want in clothes, is you want clothes that you don't necessarily have to wash all the time, but that you can hang out and let them air out. they're gonna look dirty. There's no way around that. Even when you wash them by hand, they're still kind of look dirty. Yeah. But airing them out, exposing clothes to sun helps to also fight any bacteria that might be problematic on your skin. I'm not breaking out in any rashes or anything like that, you know. So. That, I think, will be the title. Yeah. How to prevent rash, skin problems. I don't know, some title like that. Yeah. These are my these are my merino wool socks. They so desperately need to be cleaned. When a sock can stand up like that, yeah, yeah. I guess you can gauge by like how far you can. So that's not good. I think if you held it here and it stood up, then just, yeah. Yes. Keeping your hands as clean as you can, it's difficult, but my hands aren't too bad. I think that's important. And keeping your feet as clean as you can. Yeah, if you're not by a water source, you're not really able to wash up as much as you would like. Luckily, you know, as long as I don't have a partner, yeah, I'm fine with all the dirt and grime. But keeping your feet and hands clean, I think, is pretty important. With my hair growing out like this, if I've rather got to cut it, or I have to get a comb. Not because it's hard to comb this hair, but when you have hair, then you got to be concerned about bugs or something getting in there. So yeah, during this resupply, I have to decide if I'm going to cut the hair. What do you think? Should I shave the hair or start letting it grow in for the winter? I had somebody say that I needed to get rid of the facial hair, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to go on one person's opinion. However, I am of the opinion that since other people have to look at this, I'll take opinions on, looks. I'll take opinions and take those into account. Yeah. Yeah, I'm empathetic towards others that have to look at this, right? But yeah. Yes. See, now, aloha, Ramon. I'm now going to have to probably pay you as my fashion advisor. Yeah. Because I respect your fashion sensibilities. Yes. Upon first meeting you, I was impressed with your fashion sensibilities. Of course, we look like twins when I first met you, right? You being the better looking twin, but you know. I'd like to see you look like this. Maybe you do. I don't know. I haven't seen you lately. But thank you. I think I like those pragmatic, I like pragmatic style and design. Big fan. In fact, for this winter, the one thing that I would really like to purchase, it's not super expensive, but you know, I have bought cars for cheaper. But there's a sleeping bag. It's a down sleeping bag for winter use that also doubles as a down jacket. That's amazing. A down jacket. That's amazing. My tent is already doubles as a poncho. So this is a poncho that is also a tent. You guys have probably seen this before, but I think it's just the coolest thing in the whole wide world. Okay? Look at that. Look at that. It's a poncho. And you just put the hood. Oh, yeah. I forgot the mic is up there. Yeah. This is called the Gatewood Cape, made by Six Moons. It's the most awesome thing in the world. Very inexpensive. Unlike that sleeping bag that converts into a down jacket. You know who first thought of that? Oddly enough, Charlie Manson. Charlie Manson, he called it a hobo suit. And he came up with the design. He was the first one, I swear to you. It's the, you might want to look it up. It was a patent, probably the only patent that Charlie Manson ever took out was on a hobo suit. Now, this sleeping bag / down jacket, it's not an entirely unique idea. It's very common in alpine climbing. A lot of times when the belayer is belaying the climber, they're just sitting there and they're exposed to the wind and the cold and stuff. So usually they'll have to get into these modified sleeping bags where the holes are cut out for the sleeves, right? Some just use a down puffy and a half sleeping bag, which I think that's an amazing idea as well. I really like that idea. So, in fact, that's an alternative. If I don't wind up getting this winter sleeping bag / down jacket, I might just invest in a half sleeping bag. That might work out really nicely as well. So, one or the other. Truth be told, I probably don't need to purchase much winter gear because I have a lot of winter gear, but same thing as I have to be ready to purchase gear if it fails, if it starts failing. So I have multiple sleeping bags. I could, instead of buying more stuff, buying another sleeping bag, you just double them up, right? Double up sleeping bag. This season, I bought a synthetic bag. All my bags have been down sleeping bags, but I had to get a quick bag on the cheap when I first started this outdoor challenge. Due to catastrophic failure, had to get all new gear. Yeah, you don't want that happening in the winter. Winter time, that's a lot more critical. whole purchasing thing, over the years have been able to create sort of this win-win concept in finances and in spending. One of the first concepts I came up with was only buy things that you can flip, a flipping concept. But the concept has evolved, I don't like using that word, has advanced, yes, somewhat significantly. And that is, we actually live in a system of debt, so we don't have, we're not living by the gold standard anymore. And so it's not a matter of how much money you can save, or that's not modern finances anymore. Now it's a matter of how well do you manage debt. And so debt management is really at the heart of it. A lot of people have this very erroneous concept that they don't want to be in debt. But we live in a system of debt, so there's no getting around that. It doesn't benefit you to not be in debt. What's not good is not being in control of your debt, not managing your debt. And I think that's an easy equation, which is if you can't pull out of debt within a month or two, then it's probably bad debt. So I guess it's not all that complex. So your ability to manage debt means that you're not belly aching about debt, that you have it under control. You can pull out of debt whenever you like. For instance, if you can't use one paycheck to pull yourself out of debt, then you're probably not managing your debt very well. If you're paying the minimum on your credit card or cards, you're probably not managing debt. You're definitely not managing debt very well. I find that minimums are really low. I mean, you could pay low minimums forever. And that's a tactic, I suppose. The whole concept of not being able to afford the item, but being able to afford the payment, that's probably not good. That's probably not a good concept to roll with. Oh, man. The Sierra Nevadas are just so incredible. Yeah. I have a relative that I just brought up the concept of moving back to Hawaii, them moving back to Hawaii. I thought it was such a good idea for them. Not for me, but for them. And I even told them if they did, I would move with them. I would probably be flying back and forth to the Sierras often. I'd probably be spending more time out here than I would be in Hawaii. But I would, for them, I would base myself out of Hawaii and go back to Hawaii. But yeah, this is just talk. I don't know how, how much weight to put on that. A win-win situation. If I don't have to move to Hawaii, that's a good thing as well, because yeah, Hawaii has its problems. So many people, cause choke. There's a joke in Hawaii when you're surfing. You go, all right, why you call them Brazilians? And you look out into the water, and the answer is, because there's a zillion of them, brah. Got another really bad joke for you, but it's a Hawaiian joke, so. What do you call one Howley learning to speak pidgin? Training, brah. Okay, well, let's see. We're gonna let the hair grow. I'll do some trimming. I'll trim a little bit, yeah, but we'll let everything else grow in, Ansel Adams style, Grizzly Adams style. There we go. I got scissors. This is an item too. I don't think I've ever talked about this, but there's the still. Scissors. Hold on. Wasn't I already? Yeah, oh, right. Talking about grooming. There we go. Grooming. We'll call this the grooming episode. Squirrel agrees. Ramon agrees as well. So, the grooming issue. Whoa. Okay. Anything else I want to remind myself of in the future about this day, about these days? Compared to last year, wow. The situation that led to what happened with me last year, I don't ever want to repeat. And this whole season of being out here reminds me of how important it is to really think about getting involved with a sticks and bricks situation. I'm not opposed to it, but it has to be the right situation. Otherwise, I could just live like this. I'm educated to live like this. I've literally spent thousands and thousands of dollars educating myself, knolls, and going on various expeditions to live this way. I'm an old man, yes, but I think an old man in the mountains, that's classic, right? It's classic. So I think the dream of a cabin in the woods, well, it's a dream, and if it happens, that would be awesome. But the reality of a cabin in the woods is I mean, I know people with cabins in the woods. I could I could have easily worked out an arrangement where I could live in that cabin in the woods. I won't go into the issues, but it's some things are better left dreams. I think these are different times as well. I think that the karma of stealing land from other people and genociding other people, that karma is coming back. So getting land and getting a place and whatnot, it's not the illusion that it used to be. It's always been an illusion, but that illusion has really been falling apart lately for a lot of people. Not everybody. But being a musician, a painter, I've got all these paintings, I've got all these instruments, I've got all this magic gear and stuff. So ideally, it would be nice to have a place for all that stuff. I think one of the great lessons is that even if you have a place, you should probably not get so dang comfortable. And again, that's hard because when you obsess, when you're doing any kind of art, you tend to obsess, which means you're just focused in that space and place. How about if you're not doing art, which happens, right? You could create this win-win situation where if you're in sticks and bricks and the artistic muse doesn't come, and that happens all the time, right? Writer's block, musician's block, creative blocks. It's just the bane of most artists. Well, that's an amazing time to go and live in the wilderness. So there's my 2 cents on that. Okay, well, nature calls, and I got to start the day. I got to pack up and get ready for this tentative resupply. 115 days of the Outside Freak Challenge. If you haven't done so already, subscribe. I think I've angered the algorithmic gods. I understand. Because, yeah, the subscriptions. And this is not all about subscribers. I'm not monetized or anything like that, but it would be nice, I guess, right? Again, YouTube and this whole push to monetize. I remember when I first started YouTube, that even YouTube didn't know how it was going to monetize, let alone its users, right? Oh, the good old days. Now it's just an immediate knee-jerk reaction to monetize anything and everything. See, the squirrels are laughing at us. All right. But yeah, if you haven't done so, subscribe, like, comment. Thanks for watching till the end. You know, God, we're all robots, aren't we? Okay. Happy robots. As long as we're happy robots. All right. I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for hanging out. Take care.